Do you ever find yourself scrolling, looking at everyone else who seems to have it all together? They seem to be reaching their goals, staying calm under pressure, and radiating a quiet confidence. Meanwhile, you feel a bit stuck. It can feel like you're running in places, caught in a reactive mode, feeling stressed and unclear on your own path. You are working hard, putting in the hours, but that feeling of making real progress just is not there. What if the key was not some complicated new system or an expensive course? What if it just was 15 minutes a day? Powerful that a Harvard Business School study found it could improve performance by over 20%. What if it could sharpen your decisions, deepen your emotional intelligence, and even help protect your brain as you age? It seems we might be overlooking a genuine tool for change, the simple habit of daily reflection. This is what can turn ordinary days into quiet breakthroughs. And today, I'd like to explore it with you.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
That feeling of being stuck is one of the most frustrating parts of being human. It's a sensation of spinning your wheels in the mud. You're busy, your calendar is full, you're responding to emails, attending meetings, and ticking items off an endless to-do list. But at the end of the day, there can be a nagging feeling. What did I actually accomplish? What really moved things forward? The days start to blur into one another, a monotonous loop of tasks, and the big goals. The dreams that once felt so important seem to be gathering dust on a shelf, always just out of reach. This is what it feels like to be on autopilot. You are awake and functioning, but you are not really directing your own life. You are reacting to what the world throws at you instead of proactively shaping the way you live. The most subtle part of this is that it creeps in slowly. You start to miss the patterns in your own behavior. You don't notice that a certain kind of project consistently drains your energy, or that you do your best creative work in the first hour of the morning. You make small compromises, taking actions that are slightly out of line with your values, and over time, these small deviations can lead you far from the person you hope to be. Some research even suggests that living this way without examination may be a risk factor for cognitive decline later in life, because you are not actively engaging the parts of the brain responsible for self-awareness. But what if there's an escape hatch, a simple, quiet, and effective way to switch off the autopilot and take the controls?
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland.
The solution is not always to hustle harder, sleep less, or add more to your already full plate. Often the solution is to pause. The solution is to build a practice of intentional daily reflection. Now, when I say reflection, try to erase any image you have of a teenager writing Dear Diary. This is not that. I'd invite you to reframe reflection as a strategic tool, a mental whetstone used by many thoughtful people to sharpen their minds. It's a way of thinking that understands that progress does not come from mindless action, but from mindful analysis. Together, we can take a closer look at this practice. First, we'll explore the why, the science-backed benefits of reflection, and your performance. We'll see how it can clearly clarify your goals, reduce stress, and build emotional intelligence. Then we'll get into the how. I'll share a practical step-by-step blueprint you can use to start your own 15-minute reflection habit. Maybe even tonight. Just simple, actionable method, along with some of the most powerful questions that have personally helped me. By the end, you'll have the knowledge and the tools to worry less about what you might be missing out on, and more about how you can own your day, every single day. The science of transformation. To truly commit to a new habit, you have to believe that the return on your investment of time and energy will be worthwhile. So let's look at the evidence of what this practical actually does to your brain and your results. This is not self-help fluff. It's neuroscience in action. We can break it down into three areas. First, your performance and clarity. Second, your emotional well-being. And third, the long-term health of your brain. Let's start with the one that gets a lot of attention, the performance boost. In a well-known study from Harvard Business School, employees at a tech support company were divided into groups. One group just worked as they normally would. A second group was asked to spend the last 15 minutes of their day reflecting on what they had learned. After just 10 days, the results were notable. The reflection group performed 23% better than the group that did not reflect. Let that number sink in for a second. 23%. That's not a small gain. That's a kind of improvement that can change the trajectory of a project or even a career. It's like getting the benefit of an extra day of work each week, but without putting in the extra hours. In practical terms, it could mean submitting reports with fewer errors, finding more creative solutions to problems, or handling customer issues more effectively. It's a leap in output that comes not from working harder but from thinking smarter. So the question is how? How does 15 minutes of quiet thought produce such a result? The answer seems to be clarity. In our chaotic lives, our attention is constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions. Reflection is the act of intentionality creating a signal in the noise. It's a forced pause when you sit through the day's events and ask, what actually mattered? It helps you distinguish between the tasks that felt urgent and the tasks that were truly important. This clarity directly feeds into better decision making. Neuroscience shows us that expressive writing and structured review, hallmarks of a good reflection practice, strengthen analytical thinking and crucial pattern recognition. Imagine a project that went off the rails. A non-reflecting person might just feel frustrated, blame a colleague, and move on, possibly repeating the same mistake later. But a reflecting person sits down and deconstructs it.
Because that's what I do and I'm real happy.
You write down the same sequence of events. You might realize, oh, the project started to go sideways when I agreed to a new deliverable without adjusting the timeline. I felt pressure to say yes in that meeting. You are not just lamenting the failure, you are just extracting a lesson. You are identifying the decision point, the emotional trigger, and the consequence. The next time you are in a similar meeting, an alarm bell might go off. You've seen this pattern before. This time, you can choose differently. That is reflection in action. It turns your past experience into a personal database of wisdom. Now for the second area, the stress and anxiety shield. We are living in a stressful time. Our nervous systems were not designed for the constant barrage of notifications, the 24/7 news cycle, and the social pressures of the modern world. Many of us spend our days in a low-grade state of fight or flight, with our bodies flooded with cortisol. This can lead to burnout and anxiety. Many people turn to passive consumption to cope, binge, watching TV, or scrolling through social media. But these activities often provide only temporary numbness, not true relief. Daily reflection is an active, neurological intervention. It's a way to rewire your brain's response to stress. For instance, 2024 study on mindfulness, which included self-reflection, found that a consistent 10-minute daily practice could reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression by about 12% to 19% compared to a control
You
group.
just have to decide what kind of man you want to grow up to be, Clark, because
That's a significant impact from a simple habit. How does this work? When you sit down to reflect, you engage your prefrontal cortex, the logical, the CEO part of your brain. This simple act helps to calm the activity in your amygdala, the brain's alarm system. Think of it this way. When you are stressed, your emotional brain, the amygdala, is screaming, and your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, has gone quiet. Reflection is a practice of gently bringing that thinking brain back online. It strengthens the pathways between your rational mind and your emotional core. It's like doing push-ups for your emotional regulation muscles. Every time you notice a feeling, name it and write about it. You reinforce your brain's ability to manage that emotion instead of being managed by it. A critical part of this is the intentional practice of gratitude. Many reflection frameworks include a prompt about what you are grateful for. This is not just about thinking positive. It's a neurological exercise. When you scan your day for positive things, a good cup of coffee, a kind word from a colleague, you are actively training your brain to look for the good. It can begin to rewire your default pathways away from a threat detection bias toward an appreciation bias. Finally, let's talk about the third, and perhaps most profound area, brain health and longevity. Most of us think about habits in terms of short-term gains, but daily reflection is also a powerful long-term investment in your mind. We now know about neuroplasticity, the idea that our brain is constantly changing based on our experiences and thoughts.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Daily reflection is a driver of positive neuroplasticity. Brain imaging studies show that when you engage in self-referential thought, you activate the prefrontal cortex and something called the default mode network, DMN. The DMN is active when your mind is wandering or thinking about yourself. A healthy DMN is crucial for self-awareness and creative insight, while a dysfunctional one is linked to rumination and anxiety. Regular reflection helps to regulate this network, turning it from a source of anxious chatter into a powerhouse of self-awareness. These interesting implications for long-term brain health. A major study from University College London followed older adults and found that those who regularly engaged in reflective, self-motivated cognitive activities had a lower risk of developing dementia. Researchers believe this is because these activities build cognitive reserve. By keeping neural pathways active, you are making your brain more resilient. So when you take 15 minutes to reflect, you're not just planning for tomorrow. You are investing in the future health of your mind. You are actively participating in the longevity of your own consciousness. When you see it this way, the question changes from do I have time for this to how can I afford not to? Section 2. My story from overwhelmed to on purpose. I've just shared a lot of science, which is compelling, but for something to truly click, it needs to feel real.
Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
A simple way to begin. We've covered the science. Now we get to the most important part. The how. My goal here is to make the practice so simple and accessible that you feel you can start tonight. Knowledge without action is just an idea, and I hope to help you put this idea into action. First, let's clear away a few common myths that stop people before they even begin. The first is, I'm not a writer, I'll just stare at a blank page. Reflection has nothing to do with writing abilities. This is not about crafting beautiful prose. This is about honest thought. If your entry is a series of bullet points, a messy mind map, or a single sentence, you are doing it perfectly. The goal is clarity, not poetry. The second myth is, I don't have time. We've already touched on this, but it's worth repeating. You are talking about the 10 to 15 minutes. Think about the things you do for 15 minutes without a second thought. Scrolling social media, waiting for a show to load. You have the time, okay? The question is one of priority. This might be the healthiest, highest leverage 15 minutes of your day. So start with 5 minutes if you have to. Start small. Third myth. What do I even write about? My life is not that interesting. This misses the point. Reflection is not about documenting dramatic events. It's about finding the lessons in the ordinary. It's about examining your reactions, thoughts, and feelings about the mundane, because that's where most of life happens. You don't need a fascinating life to have a powerful reflection practice. You may find that a reflection practice makes your life more fascinating. With those myths are out of the way, let's talk tools. Don't overthink this. The best tool is the one you actually use. There are generally three categories. First is analog, a simple pen and notebook. This is my personal favorite. There's a power in the physical act of writing. The friction of pen on paper slows you down, forcing a more deliberate thought process. Second is digital. This could be a journaling app, a note-taking tool like Notion or Evernote, or even a simple text file. The advantages are obvious. It's searchable, which is powerful for finding patterns over time, and it's always with you on your phone. And third is voice. This is a great option for people who process their thoughts better by speaking. You can open the voice memo app on your phone and just talk. Articulating your thoughts out loud can bring a different kind of clarity. The key is to choose the path of least resistance. Pick the tool that feels most natural. Okay, tools are chosen. Now for the main event. The 15 minutes daily reflection blueprint. Here is a simple 3-part structure with 7 prompts. This framework is designed to take you from a review of your day to a reset for tomorrow. We can break our 15 minutes into 3 5-minute segments. The review, the reframe, and the reset. Part 1, the review, 5 minutes. First 5 minutes. First 5 minutes. The goal here is to gather data from your day. Prompt 1. What was one win or moment of progress today? Start here, always. Even on the worst days, find something. Did you finish a difficult task? Did you stick to a plan? Acknowledging progress, however small, builds momentum. What was one challenge or point of friction? Prompt 2. Now look at the other side. Be honest and specific. Don't just say work was hard. Pinpoint it. I got stuck trying to write the intro to the presentation. Naming the challenge is the first step. Prompt 3. What did I learn today? This can be a lesson about your work, another person, or yourself. Did you learn that you procrastinate on tasks you are unsure how to start? Did you learn that a 10-minute walk boosts your energy? This prompt shifts you toward a growth mindset. What did I learn today? Part 2. The reframe. Next 5 minutes. Now that you have the raw data, this part is about processing it. Prompt 4. How can I reframe the challenge? What is a lesson or opportunity within it? This is the heart of building resilience. Your challenge was getting stuck on the presentation intro. The reframe might be, this is a sign that I'm not clear on the core message. The opportunity is to simplify my objective before I try writing again. This turns obstacles into stepping stones. What am I grateful for today? Be incredibly specific. Don't just write my family. Write, I'm grateful for how my partner listened to me talk about my day. Specificity is what makes the emotional and neurological impact so potent. The reset. Last 5 minutes. The final part is about channeling this insight into intention. What is my single most important priority for tomorrow? Based on what what is my single most important priority for tomorrow? Based on what you just reflected on, what is the one thing that will make tomorrow a success? This is not your to-do list, it's your bullseye. Naming it creates focus. Prompt 7. What's one action I can take to make tomorrow better, based on what I learned? This closes the loop. If you learned you get drained by back-to-back meetings, the action might be, I will block out 15 minutes of buffer time between my meetings tomorrow. This ensures your insights change your behavior. And that's it. 7 prompts, 15 minutes. A complete system for turning your daily experience into fuel for growth. Of course, this is just one framework. The beauty of reflection is its flexibility. The key is not to find the perfect system, but to start with a good one and make it your own. I laid out the science, a story, and a step-by-step strategy. But watching this won't change your life.
Only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything.
Only taking action will. The gap between the person you are and the person you want to become is bridged by your daily habits. So, I invite you to prove this to yourself. Consider a 7-day reflection challenge. Just 1 week of committing to 15 minutes a day to use the prompts we just learned. We've just went through. I believe that if you give this practice your genuine attention for just 1 week, you will experience a shift in your clarity and sense of control. To make this as easy as possible, I create a free 1-page PDF guide with a blueprint and all 7 prompts. There's no need to try and remember everything. The link to download it is in the comments below. Before you go, if you are open to it, I'd encourage you to make a commitment to yourself. You could go down to the comment section and write, I'm starting my 7-day challenge. Putting it out there can be a powerful motivator. It could be wonderful to see a wave of people starting this journey together. It'll be down there reading and cheering you on. And finally, you've got value from this exploration today. Please consider subscribing. We're building a community of people dedicated to intentional living, and I have so much more I'd like to share. In our next video, we'll explore how to use specific reflection techniques to finally understand and work with procrastination. We started by talking about the feeling of being stuck, of watching others succeed while you feel like you're spinning your wheels. The solution is not always more hustle or more pressure. Sometimes the solution is more insight. The life you want, the calm, the focus, the sense of purpose. It is not always found by adding more to your calendar. It is often found in the quiet 15 minutes you dedicate to understanding yourself. Think back to that person you imagined at the beginning, endlessly scrolling, feeling a pang of envy. Daily reflection is a tool that allows you to stop looking outward at other people's highlight reels and start looking inward at your own operating system. It's a process of becoming your own coach. It is a bridge from a life of reaction to a life of intention. It is a mechanism that can take you from feeling stuck and powerless to feeling focused and in control. The high achievers you might admire are not a different species. They are not necessarily more talented or luckier than you, but they often have systems for learning and course correcting faster than everyone else. Daily reflection is a powerful system for that. It's an engine of personal compounding, where a small insight each day can lead to a significant transformation over time. The most important project you will ever work on is you. Don't leave that project to chance. Don't run on autopilot for another day. You have the science, you have a story, you have the blueprint. All that's left is your direction, your decision. All that's left is your decision. Start tonight, grab a notebook or open a new document, and for just 15 minutes, have a meeting with the most important person in your life, yourself. Start reflecting. Start today.
I wasn't high, wasn't wired, just clear. I knew what I needed to do and how to do it.